claims that mail-in voting will lead to widespread voter fraud.
ABC's Rachel Scott. Russia's top opposition leader, Alexei Navalny, an avowed enemy of Vladimir Putin, suspected of being poisoned, has been flown to Germany after Russian doctors finally gave in to his family's demands. Navalny, who remains in a coma, was transported under heavy security to a hospital in Berlin for treatment. You're listening to ABC News.
Well, you could feel it in Northwest Ohio.
At 6:55 Friday night, the U.S. Geological Survey reported a 3.4 magnitude earthquake in western Lake Erie, about 2 miles south of Detroit Beach and 4 miles from Monroe, Michigan. The quake was felt as far south as Toledo. However, no reports of damage have come in yet. However, social media is filling with claims of shaking doors and windows. Reporting in Toledo, I'm Scott Sands.
The Ohio State University says any student who attends or hosts a large party could be suspended. A letter stating that was sent to all OSU students. It also says student organizations hosting large parties can lose their university funding. Cuyahoga, one Ohio county where the COVID-19 case level has actually gone down. County health officials say it's still a very serious problem. Cuyahoga County Health Board Director Terry Allen says when you actually compare coronavirus to the flu, coronavirus is much worse given that there were 544 COVID-19 deaths in Cuyahoga County in a 6-month period.
We had an elevated rate of elevated rate of influenza in our community in the 2019-2020 season, and we saw less than 50 fatalities in 6 months.
A woman and her baby are dead following a crash in Preble County. The Ohio State Highway Patrol says 25-year-old Tanya Beachy was involved in a chain reaction 4-vehicle pileup Thursday night on I-70. 2 semis and 2 SUVs collided after one of the big rigs rear-ended a Chevy Suburban. An arrest made in the killing of a former Kent State football player. WBNS-TV reports that Dijon Maddox is charged with aggravated murder in the death of Devontae Strickland. Fairfield County authorities say Strickland and another person were shot at a party in Amanda Township last month. The sheriff's office says Maddox was arrested during a traffic stop. I'm Tom Moore.
Filling your news feed with the top trending news at the top and bottom of the hour. Columbus's news is on News Radio 610 WTBN.
If the next step for your business is finding a high-impact hire, try Indeed. Their flexible payment options mean better bang for your buck with no long-term contracts. Indeed will even give you a $75 credit for your first job post at Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
Celebrate and have a good time. Right now at the all-new Celebration Kia on Route 23 in Lewis Center. Get a great deal on a new car and have a good time. Bring us any trade and get up to a $6,000 discount off any new Kia in stock. Shop Columbus's largest selection of new Kias, where you can drive away in a sporty new 2020 Kia Soul for only $169 per month. This is not a lease. You own it for only $169 per month. And don't prejudge your credit. Get pre-qualified risk-free without affecting your credit score at CelebrationKia.com. Don't miss your chance to get up to $6,000 off with any trade. Only at Celebration
Hey, Em, are you on Facebook?
Route 23
I don't see you popping up.
24/7 at CelebrationKia.com. Stock number K20007.
What's that?
With approved credit through Key. $39.95.
Oh, are you on Facebook?
19% APR plus tax license.
Oh, there you are.
Discount includes all factory
Okay.
rebates. Negative equity
I'm ready.
Expires 9/4/2020.
Now I'm ready.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Good afternoon. Welcome to On Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility. I'm your host, Eric, along with my father, Phil. Guys, did you notice this week I'm not up on a pedestal? There's no big monologue about calling someone out. It's a little bit, it's a little, oh, can I turn your mic? Are you guys on now?
Yeah, that would be nice
of
you.
Yeah. Jeezy, criminy.
Sorry about the donut and the coffee.
Who's going to run this show?
Well, I am running. And let me just tell you, before we get started, guys, we have a studio audience like we normally do. And there's someone in this audience, and she came in specifically to watch me here. Matter of fact, she says, oh, I didn't know you had other people on the show with you. I'm just saying.
Apparently she's not been watching.
I think you're making that up.
Huh? I'm speaking for her and stuff. Okay. But it's great to see people out here.
You're good at speaking for people.
Huh? Yes, right. It sounds like a politician, right?
Yes.
So we are the owners of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility Interactive Law Enforcement. But for 1 hour on Saturdays, we put together a group of firearm experts to discuss new products in the market, training tips, and oftentimes political topics surrounding the Second Amendment. Our commitment, though, has always been to bring you the facts about our industry and ultimately help listeners and customers with safe, responsible ownership of firearms. I wanted to start by thanking Mark Richardson, who jumped on with us last week. We really need to back him in his race against the person actually who assaulted an officer. I mean, how do you maintain your position in Congress after you take a swipe at an officer? I don't know, but it's the world that we're living in. So Mark Richardson, remember his name when you go to the polls in November. Our great friend Luis, who also jumped on with us, talk about an inspiration, guys. You know, he is so inspiring to all of us to continue the fight to keep our country upstanding and so forth. JC, what did you think about Luis last week?
Well, he's always incredible, but his message, just because it was Venezuela, folks, I mean, this could happen here at the end of the election. I mean, this happens, but he's great. He's a great inspiration. It's wonderful to have Luis on.
Yep, and always good. And actually, you know what, JC, he actually took a class from us this week. He did his requalifications this week here, so it was nice to see him in the classroom as well. Today on the show, my buddy Rich will be calling in shortly to explain why the shelves continue to be empty in regards to ammo and inventory in this industry. That's going to be at 12:25. At 12:35, we hear from a good friend of ours, Dean Reek from the Buckeye Firearms Association. He's going to update us on some of the talk that's been out there in the media recently about what Governor DeWine is attempting to do with new legislation concerning gun owners. He's going to be on talking about that, and also is going to give us an update on concealed carry holders and the expiration of their license. There's some people out there now who have had their license expire, and there was some provisions for that you had 90 days, I think, to get a new license renewal, you know, amongst COVID and stuff. But some of these counties now are so behind that people are not going to be able to get their license renewed in time. So we're going to hear what Buckeye Firearms is doing about that and hear some updates on some other info. That's at 12:35. JC's going to have the news, the crazy news before that. And I'd like to thank our sponsors, TTG Technologies, Toyota West, Jackson Lawn Care and Egress Windows, Trigger Group, Black Wing Shooting Centers, River's Edge Cutlery, CNS Engraving, and Clean Water Systems, all who make the show possible each week. Joining me today in the LEPD studios, JC, I know you're not sitting here with us, but I can feel your presence. Are you doing good up there?
Oh, yeah. Likewise, my friend. Yeah. Miss you guys in person, but yeah.
Sure you do.
Yeah, right.
JC, did you see?
I do, Ed.
Did you see this week that WTVN, which we're broadcasting on right now, a big conservative talk station here in Central Ohio, how they're ranked nationally? Did you see those numbers, JC?
I was actually shocked by this. I mean, tied for number 2 in the nation. When you think of all the radio stations out there and all the ones that do talk radio across the nation, tied for number 2.
Well, you know why that is, don't
amazing.
you, JC?
No, I do not, Ed. Enlighten me.
It's because of this great show that you are on right now.
That is right.
And I can believe that. I don't know anybody else who's doing this around here. So, yeah, it's an honor.
It is a neat thing, though, and it's we're honored to be on 610 WTVN, and we joke about it sometimes, take it for granted, but they are a source and a great place for talk radio across the country.
And to have Emily as your producer.
And to have Emily, now, did that go over air, or is that just in my ear?
That's just in your ear.
Okay, so
that was in my ear too.
Yes, it was in your ear.
It was in all of our ears.
I think everybody heard it.
Yeah,
yes.
So do I.
I didn't hear it.
Our wonderful producer said that she is a big part of that, and I would agree to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
She is.
Big Ed sits to my right. Big Ed,
Yes.
I didn't tell you, I haven't talked to you for a couple of days here. We have been hyping a big announcement today as far as inventory. Next week, we just got word last night that next week we're getting a good size batch of Glocks in.
Nice.
Which is we don't often get to say. There's going to be almost 50 Glocks coming in. Glock 19s, 19Xs, Glock 43s, 19 MOSs, a bunch. So if you're out there listening and you've been in the market for one of these, give us a call or stop by, get your name on the list.
Don't hesitate.
As soon as what we're going to do, as soon as those hit the door, and we anticipate it being probably midweek. We're going to go right down the list, and rest assured, a lot of those will probably be gone by the end of the week. Glock 42 is in there too. I failed to mention those. We haven't seen those for a while. So a great place to keep updated on all this is our Facebook page.
How about ammo?
But
How are we doing on ammo? People
it's
are
not
asking.
good. I mean, ammo is not good. Unfortunately, this week we have taken the stance where we no longer sell ammo if you're coming to use the range. And you certainly, we haven't been selling it if you're coming in just to buy a box of ammo. Only time we're selling ammo right now are if you are buying a firearm. And if, let's say you're buying a 9mm, we're giving you a choice of either a box of defensive or a box of range. There's just none there. And part of the issue that we face is we do a lot of classes here. We do a lot of police classes, a lot of concealed carry classes, and we feel an obligation to have a few boxes back for people in the classes. I mean, you have to have that. So it's not getting any better, and hopefully Richie here will talk a little bit about that and see if there's any hope in the near future. My father and co-owner sits to my left. Are you going to do a gun of the week this week? Or are you going to just continue to?
If you kind of tee me up, yeah. Now and
tee you off, you mean?
Well, he does that too. I have in my hands here.
Your grubby hands?
My grubby hands. What someone feels is the 10 best revolvers of all time. Now,
who would that someone be first?
It's not me. Okay. Now. So if we do get to the gun of the week, I want each of you to think, don't tell me, but think in your mind what you think or what you feel is the best revolver of all times. And then we'll go around and see whether you're on the list or not.
So why do I get this impression that it's going to be the Model 10, 10-1, 10-2?
No. This is not rigged. This is something that I just looked up, and this is somebody who's very subjective.
I can't believe that.
Not me. It's not me.
Okay.
But anyways, think
So
about
you say.
what is the best firearm, best revolver of all time.
Okay, we will anticipate that anxiously. If you missed the show, you can always catch the podcast. That's at 610WTVN.com. Emily put that out there very quickly, actually, after the show or the next day. iTunes is another great place to listen, and Google Podcasts is where I personally listen to the show back each week. Facebook Live is where you can interact with Ed and the guys during the show. I mean, it's a live broadcast, and Ed takes those
We got a lot of
messages.
people checking in today. We got several longtime listeners as well as some newbies I'm seeing. So
certainly ask questions through that, and that video stays out there on the Facebook page. Also gets uploaded a couple days later on YouTube. So if you want to go out there and watch a couple as you're trying to get to sleep at night.
Did you introduce me yet?
Yeah, I went around. I said, "Hey, Big Ed's right here to our right. Hey, have you heard about the Glocks? You know."
Oh, gee, come on, Ed.
I didn't hear the intro like you got, or like.
Well, I do have a little bit more clout than what you have. Okay.
Great. So with that, let's get to some news that we're seeing out there. JC, there is one of them. I just can't believe it. I'll wait till you tee it up of what's going on in Chicago, but it's almost laughable. No, you got the stats on Chicago, but JC has a story out of Chicago that's just I guess it's par for the course.
Well, it's might as well do that first because Chicago's mayor, Lori Lightweight is what I call her. The Freudian slip. It's Lightfoot. These double standards that she has, because as far as the protesters go, they can protest Antifa, the BLM folks, no problems. But what about her place? Well, guess what? Even though crime is rampant in Chicago, as Ed will fill us in, they pulled dozens of officers off to protect her house.
No.
It's in her neighborhood, and dozens of officers standing guard to prevent any protests around her house. And she actually came out, and this came from the Chicago Tribune, okay? But her quote was, she goes, "Yeah, I think that residents in the city understand the nature of threats that we're receiving on a daily basis, and I have the right to make sure my home is secure." What about the other folks that are having the gun violence, the robberies? But no, she wants to make sure. As a matter of fact, the Tribune reported that police have banned any protests for demonstrating on her block and are ordering officers to arrest anyone.
How do you get away with that?
So,
it's absolutely
Chicago.
These people, Ed, think they are so above everyone else. I mean, look at that. I mean, here in our own city, the detail that the mayor has. I mean, here's the irony: the mayor doesn't say one positive thing about our local police, right? I mean, when was the last time he stood behind them, right?
Has never.
But yet he has a detail of them protecting him around. You know, how ironic is that? And it's just crazy. These politicians, I don't know what you call them. I mean, they are so out of touch.
I got a word for him, but we can't say it on the air.
That we can use that after the clock goes off here and we go on. But it's crazy.
Also this week she also blamed Mississippi for the gun violence in Chicago, and the governor went, "What in the heck?" I mean, this is this Lori Lightfoot. So
she is a
crazy.
class act.
Now this ties into it with all this. Guess what? They just released the stats on the number of NICS checks per state, and the number one, and this blew me away, Illinois had, guess how many NICS checks this year in 7 months? 4.6 million NICS checks in the state of Illinois. Second was Kentucky with 2.2, 4.6 so far this year in Illinois. With the way she's regulating the city and the crime and the rampant, it's just people need to protect themselves. And I was blown away by that.
JC, before we go any further, Ed, you have your weekly stats on Chicago. Are they doing any better?
This is gonna blow you away. Year to date, 2,637 shot. That's
2,637 people shot.
Year to date. 489 homicides. 86% were black Americans or Hispanics. This week alone, we had 139 shot, 10 homicides. That's a good, that's a good week.
That is a good. Well, actually,
a good week.
Actually, it's a good week because it's only 10 homicides, but 139 people shot. Can you imagine what law enforcement? I mean, how do you even begin to?
Well, I'll tell you, the police must be doing something right, because how many do you think they killed?
Well, I've read the papers. They are. It's rampant, Ed. They are shooting people left and right, especially unarmed people.
Yes, it's crazy. It's off the hook. It hasn't changed. It's still 3.
We've reported that number for what, 12, 13 weeks?
At least. 3 shot by police for the last 12 weeks, and we're still trending ahead of the best year in modern history for 2017 murders in Chicago. Mayor Lightfoot has got to be standing on her soapbox and praising the police, I would think.
Right, yeah.
With only 3 shots?
So wait a second, only 3?
Only 3.
But that's not what you
in
hear.
the city of Chicago.
Well, of course not.
It's crazy. It's nuts. So speaking of nuts, JC, the Democratic National Party had their
hoo-ha.
Yes, this week.
Yeah, they had their hoo-ha. And even folks that are for the Democrats are saying that the speech was incredibly light, not addressing any of the economic things. How do you argue with Trump, who's turned this economy around like nobody else has ever done? But when it came to guns, they just cemented themselves and as the most anti-Second Amendment group, I think, in the history of the United States at this level, at this high level. There's some really, really scary stuff in there. And now, gun news, there used to be shotgun news back in the old days. They've changed several years ago, but they've been around since the 40s. They printed an article just yesterday, and they said unless the Democrats rescind their proposed gun issuing board, threats and anti-rights promises don't even matter. And here's the thing. And their platform, they've just come out. I mean, obviously they want universal gun, background checks, which means universal gun registration. That's the only way you could have an effective. You can pass the words, but it means nothing unless you have 100% gun registration. But the thing is that these statutes are already in the books. And what do I mean by that? This year, the House of Representatives 5717 bill by Hank Tippy Guam turning over and sinking Johnson. He introduced that one, and Senate Bill S-3254, which was Elizabeth Warren, have come out, and these are already in the book. All they need to do is have a president, a Democrat elected, and just pass these. Now get this, you're going to have to, these are already, again, written, and they're already out there. I mean, they've already been, one is January this year, one is in February that they were introduced. So you have to be of sound character and mind, but there's no standards described, and a board, an unelected board will determine these things. And you have factors that suggest that the individual could potentially create a risk, safety. Are there? And I love this one. Do you meet or fail to meet any other requirements the state determines relevant to allow you to have a gun? What does that mean? Boy, that's open. The authorities shall make a determination of suitability for your ownership and possession of firearms you currently own, as well as anything that you would be buying. And of course, there's mandatory licensing for everything. The authority shall establish standards and processes by which licensing authorities can revoke, suspend, or deny issuance or renewal of a license to own firearms. And this is an unelected board. They could come in and say, you know what, I don't think anybody should own these types, and bingo, there you go. The new required federal gun licensing with mandatory testing and numerous other conditions also applies to all the guns you currently own or seek to own. And as I said in the article, the bottom line is the Democrats take control is that you can only have a gun if they say you can. And possession of any firearms without this new license is a crime. They don't talk about this stuff in the news media, but there it is.
The thing is, historically, we've looked at stuff like this, and you say, okay, that's so outrageous, it will never go through, it will never pass, it will never come to fruition. The problem is, look around us. Look at all the stuff that's been slipped through, passed. How many times have we said on this show, like, I can't believe that. I can't believe they're defunding the police. I can't believe they're taking away. I mean, it's within the realm of possibility now. I mean, if they get elected and they get in there and Beto is the gun czar as they claimed he's going to be, it's within the realm. I mean, we need to take it serious,
Absolutely. And the thing that scares me is who's worse than Biden is Kamala Harris. And what I heard the other night was on a survey that even 30% of the Democrats believe that Biden won't last 4 years. And if that's the case, and he resigns for any reason,
that's the plan.
Guess who's the president of the United States?
Wow.
So this
that's
just
the plan.
Also ran. This is someone who could, and she's about the most anti-gun person that is out there. Period.
Right. JC, when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking to our good buddy Richie, who has his pulse on the industry, and ask him why we can't get any ammo. We're on target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Okay, be right back.
Good afternoon, everybody. I've got a gentleman out there that has a 1911 that he needs to have looked at. Sean, our gunsmith, I'm sure could take care of it and fix it for you.
You're not staying for the whole show. They saw the part they wanted. Okay, all right.
And if Sean can't get it fixed for you, I'm sure he can direct you on where to get it fixed. Also, he has a Colt Cobra 38, wanted your reviews.
Oh, my.
I'll tell you what, Stephen, when we get to that segment, I'll bring it up and I'll let Phil, our revolver guru, talk to you about that and give you his opinion on it. Anyways, good afternoon to all you guys out there and girls. Check in with any comments, questions. I think I answered the first one we had from last week and again today about the ammo. Ammo is limited and you can't buy it. Sorry, the only way you can get it is to buy a gun. Now, if you're in the market for a new gun, come on in. We'll get you a box of ammo to go with it. But that's about the best we can do at this point. Not our fault. Well, we're doing the best we can anyways.
It's 84, Eric.
It's 84, Eric.
Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome.
Does that block you or me?
BFA in the house. What is BFA?
Buckeye Firearms Association.
Oh.
Okay,
Well,
Ed, I'm
thanks.
cutting you off, Edward.
Cut me off.
Okay, I'm going to write that down.
Your ABC6 first warning weather for today. A mix of sun and clouds, hot and humid. A few spotty afternoon showers are likely, high of 85. Tonight, showers are ending mild and muggy. For Sunday, partly sunny, warm and muggy once again with scattered afternoon showers, likely high of 86. It's currently 86 on your severe weather station. News Radio 610 WTVN.
The news, traffic, and weather station. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in.
Oh boy!
Then I'll watch them roll away.
Pablo, I let that go for a sec.
Thank you. So
that was good. I like that. That's
okay.
classic. How can
All right.
you miss that?
Yeah.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LEPD studios, my father and co-owner, Phil. Big Ed, our good friend, sits to my right. Good seeing you, Big Ed. I know
Good afternoon.
Back's been bothering you, but it's good to see you
Yes.
sitting here and back in fighting mode.
Thank you. I got to bring up one thing. JC brought up the senator that talked about the island tipping over.
Yes.
Went to Kelly's Island last weekend. Took my new camper, got on the ferry, and got on the.
Really?
Took it over to the island, and I was afraid that the island was going to tip over once I got on there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big camper.
Right. A big camper and a big guy in the big camper.
Yeah. Plus, my big dog was with me.
There you
go. JC's on the line with us. Speaking of on the line, my good buddy Richie is on the line. Let me see. Do we have that intro? There I think I hear him now.
Typing up.
There you go.
Richie, are you there?
I am here.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and stop typing now because we are ready for your report of the industry.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure to be in the presence of such greatness as always.
Yes.
Wow, that was very nice.
Oh,
of you,
he's
Richie.
talking about me again, Eric.
I think it was me.
Oh.
Well, you know what it is I have to say something nice because if I'm going to tell you what's going on in the industry, I don't have any good news.
Great.
Wow. So, Rich, we continue to struggle with ammo, with inventory, although we have a little shining moment. We announced today we have some Glocks coming next week and stuff. Are you seeing anything from your side, any relief? I mean, any dates, anything that gives us some hope?
Well, let me switch gears real second before I get to the ammo situation. Do you want to know why you have 50 Glocks coming in besides the fact that you have deep pockets and someone is fulfilling your needs?
Because he's got a good friend in the Glock industry?
Believe it or not, I found out the other day directly from Glock that they have 1 year of raw material on their campuses or in their factories throughout the world. They have 4 factories, one in Asia, North America, South America, and Europe. With their regular inventory coming in, they have a warehouse filled with a year's worth of raw material. They're the only manufacturer that I'm aware of that actually has that. So regardless of the strangulation of raw material that everyone's encountering, Glock is still manufacturing the same amount of guns they were at this time last year with no impact whatsoever.
Wow. So are you saying then that some of what we're seeing as the holdup for us to get them is from the distributor side?
Yeah, it is. It's becoming because from a distribution point of view, from sales, you want to try to take care of as many customers as possible, but you also have to, you're almost driven to take care of your big customers, and they do get a good chunk of it. When they manufacture a certain model, there is a term that they use on the manufacturing floor. It's called BOM, Bill of Material, and they schedule to manufacture Glock 19, 17s, or SIG 226 Elites. They only manufacture roughly between 5,000 to 8,000 units. When you start to split that down between law enforcement military commitments, and then you look at distributions with 20 major distributors in the United States, that number starts to dwindle. And then some of the distributor sales staff is between, 10 to 150 sales reps with anywhere between 150 to 200 dealers. So when I turn around, if I'm a sales rep and I get my so-called allocations, I may only get 5 Glock 19s, but I have 150 dealers to send them to.
Right.
Who gets them?
Right. Hey, Rich, we are up against the bottom of the hour. Can you hang through the news and we'll catch you right on the other side?
Sure.
All right. When we come back from the bottom of the hour news, we're going to continue our conversation with our buddy Rich, hearing about the industry update, and we have a couple questions for him as well. We're on Target Broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Thank you, Eric.
My only question is, how is Buckeye Ranch calling?
Oh, you know what? They are calling on the same line as Rich, and he already told me that it's running busy, so I told him to give it a couple minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
All right.
So he knows knows that it's going to be a
Perfect.
sec.
Be right back then.
Yep.
Sean Carell has commented saying the NFAC is returning to Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow, that's scary. You know what those guys are? Those are the ones who popped off the round in their peaceful demonstration. Remember that we talked about the guy who is their leader who says, "You guys don't know guns," and he's you remember that idiot?
The one who shot his buddy in the foot?
Yes.
Yep. Hopefully that is fake news, but we won't know until they go out and shoot somebody in the foot again. John Thomas checking in. How are you, John? Jen Matthews.
Hey, Jen.
Speak to the Marysville football controversy. Are you talking about the football team standing there holding the blue line flags and the American flag? If so, I think it's great.
Was that controversial?
Yeah, it was on Facebook. I didn't know it was Marysville football team, but the whole team was standing on a railroad car or a train engine, maybe it was. They're all dressed in their uniforms, and then they're holding the American flag and a blue line flag, back the blue, and there was somebody in the area that there either goes there or has gone there who thought it was so disgusted with the picture about it and about how all the it's getting. It was to hear somebody talk about the American flag that way and the people who support it was disgusting, if you ask me.
It's crazy.
This world is going into the toilet, and the liberals are stirring it very good. Mike Brooks checking in.
How much time we got there, Em?
40 seconds.
Okay.
My question, according to Eric, is this is a genuine consumer-driven shortage, or is it government interfering? If you're talking about the guns and the ammo, I believe it's because of the outrage and outpour of people purchasing all at once ever since this COVID thing has created the shortage. I don't believe the government has anything to do with it at this point. Now, if Biden gets in there, then you're going to see the government having something to do with it. But that's a very big if.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios, my father and co-owner, Phil. He sits to my left. Big Ed is to my right, and JC is on the live line with us, as is my good buddy Richie, who's giving us an industry update. As usual, Rich, we are short on time, but tell us on the ammo side of things, any hope of seeing any ammo anytime soon?
Hopefully it's going to start to pick up. The industry manufactures roughly 15 billion rounds a year. Even if the demand increases, they're not going to they're going to do their best to increase their production. They're running 3 shifts, but what they're not going to do is they're not going to build new facilities to meet the demand, because if things shift down the road and all of a sudden things slow down again, you've got millions of dollars invested, then you'll have people out of work, and it's just a waste of money. So they're going to continue what they're doing. There has been some ammo coming in. One company, which is RWS Gecko, the RUAG, which is out of Switzerland, imported through Florida. They've been shipping. We're still waiting for Fiocchi to come in, but we have had some small shipments. The larger shipments haven't been fulfilled. Remington is they're still dealing with that bankruptcy issue, which has affected them, and some of the other manufacturers. They're doing their best to get the product out, but the demand is so high, and they're just dealing with that the reality that they're just not meeting the demand right now. So it's going to be tough.
Now, Richie,
I'm hoping things will change, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
I'm going to give you an opportunity here to be the hero, because you have this great reputation amongst our listeners and stuff, and you yourself can deliver ammo to this listening crowd. Are you willing to commit today to delivering ammo to LEPD and the Friends of OnTarget Radio Show? I mean, right here. I mean, I'll put your name on each box.
You failed to say this is a yes or no question.
We're just giving you a hard time. Hey, Rich, thanks so much for giving us the update. Next time I want to talk about the Rise armament triggers, too, that I know you guys are real big on, and talk to our customers about those products, because we're starting to get those in as well.
Big fan of Rise. Good product line. All right, guys, as always, my blessings. Take care. Be safe.
All right, you too, Richie,
care, Richie.
and we'll talk to you this week. My buddy Richie, who actually has a great pulse on the industry, has been has worked for some of the big manufacturers, has worked for some of the big distributors, and is now does some consulting on the side as well. We are waiting for that line to free up here, and our next guest. Would you have something, Paul?
Well, I have a question for John. Whenever you have a little
go ahead.
reaction, John, I want to put you on the spot again. In your opinion, which country has the strictest gun laws? Which country?
Well, I actually don't know the answer to that.
Well, of course,
there's somebody out there that has it, but I'm certain that Russia would be one of mine, one of the communist countries, or China would be the other one. But but I'm certain there's some little berg someplace.
Oh, there is. Yeah, I'm looking at
Monaco.
I am looking at Singapore. It
Singapore,
says
okay.
Singapore ordinary citizens are not permitted access to any firearms, and if caught, are physically beaten by caning with no fewer than 6 strokes.
Wow.
There you go.
I bet their crime is low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the same thing for spitting on the sidewalk or dropping a piece of gum, I understand. But,
Probably.
In that vein, I just got a bulletin yesterday where in Australia they have banned basically water guns, and they consider them firearms. There's a gun that shoots just a water blast, and they've notified all the people there that they have to turn them in because it's considered a firearm under Australian law, and please surrender your water pistols. These aren't the regular squirt guns. They shoot a little water pellet, but it's 100% water, and there you go.
Wow.
Right.
Good old Australia.
So we like to welcome our next guest, and I appreciate you waiting for the phone line there, Dean. Dean Reek is on the line with us. He's with Buckeye Firearms Association, and you know what? We probably don't do enough to talk about how good these guys are and what they do to protect all of our Second Amendment rights here in Ohio, but they are the entity to go to, and if you ever have a chance to support them, we highly encourage it. How was that, Dean?
Yeah, that was a pretty good sales pitch. Thanks.
Dean, this week there's been a lot of chatter about Governor DeWine and this bill that's been sitting out there for a while, and how he, was trying to push stuff through. Talk a little bit about that and what your thoughts are on it, and from the Buckeye Firearms Association's viewpoint.
Yeah, what we're talking about is the strong Ohio bill, Senate Bill 221. So really all that's happened recently is the media decided that they wanted to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the murders in Dayton. And so they started interviewing people and pushing this story. I know that they called me and others in our organization a number of times. And basically the question was, well, do you guys support this now? It's been a year. We haven't done anything. And, our answer was no. Why would we support it now? It's just as bad as it was, when it was introduced. So, really, nothing is happening on the bill. If you look at what's actually going on as far as hearings and so on, nothing has happened since December 3rd of last year. So it's been about 9 months. And, despite the news stories and despite the comments by the governor, there's been zero action on this whatsoever. So it's really not moving. This is August already. And with everything else going on, we really don't expect to see any movement. We don't expect it to pass. And we're coming up on the end of the legislative session. So the way it works is, December 31st comes up. If it hasn't passed, it just dies. So, that's what we expect to happen. December 31st, this bill's just going to go away.
And Dean, the thing, I mean, for some of the people who don't follow it as much, it's over 200 pages, correct?
Yeah, it's a pretty extensive bill, and it has an awful lot of stuff in it. And I think people really aren't familiar with everything in it. I mean, it's got some really crazy stuff, too. Some of them, they were really trying to do something different, but what came out of it is pretty excessive. I mean, things like if the police are interacting with you and you're drinking or under the influence, there's a chance that alone could end up taking away your Second Amendment rights forever. You can be forcefully pushed into an Alcoholics Anonymous program or something like that. I mean, I'll give them credit; it's innovative. But, just point by point, there's just so many things in this that we have to disagree with. So, some people are saying that maybe it was going to pass in the lame duck session at the end of this year, but we really don't think so. Given everything else that's going on, because we've got the pandemic, we've got an election, we've got, all the controversy surrounding, businesses closing down, and then, of course, the scandal in the House. I'm not sure what else can happen this year other than maybe a comet hitting the Earth. But we just don't expect any movement on this bill at all.
Well, and Dean, we really are thankful that you guys are keeping on top of this, because on the surface, when you see the snippets in the media, I mean, of course they frame it as such that, hey, everyone, even gun owners, can get behind this, and that's simply not the case. JC, you've been on top of that too. What are some of the things you saw?
Yeah, I've been. One of the things that concerns me, and Dean can certainly speak to this. I mean, one of the things that was in the bill, it would just have this voluntary background check. And that sounds, hey, okay, I don't mind that. If I don't want to do it, then I don't have to sell a gun to someone. So if you sold it to somebody, there's a voluntary background check. But what I want Dean to talk about a little bit, I guess it would expose you if you did sell a gun without having one to somebody, and that person used it in a crime. I think I've read where it could expose you to criminal and civil liability if you didn't do this voluntary background check. Is that am I correct on that, Dean?
What they were trying to do was do background checks without introducing universal background checks and make it voluntary. The problem is that the way it's written and the way it would work is if somebody used your gun in a crime, potentially, then you could be held liable. So really, they didn't want to force people to get the background check. But in reality, the way it works out is, you're going to end up wanting to do it, or you're going to end up not selling your firearm because of the liability that's going to be attached to it. So, it just ends up being not a really good idea. Plus, they were going to have to create an all new technology and basically build this system from scratch to work in Ohio. So, we all know what happens when you start messing around with technology and databases and all this. Who knows how this would turn out in the end? So they're just.
Heck, we can't even get a list of stolen guns in Ohio from police departments, let alone a whole new technology.
It would really expose people to a lot of legal jeopardy. So that was just one of the big things that we really, in the end, had to reject.
Indeed, when we spoke this earlier this week, you said something that was really spot on. We get these bills with 200 pages of stuff, and it's so monotonous, and it's laws upon laws, and you hit the nail on the head. We don't enforce and convict people on the stuff that's on the books today, and that is a fact. I mean, you look at what we're letting slip through the cracks now, and all they do on the other side is call for more, and the only people it applies to are people like us who are law-abiding, who are going to follow the law regardless of how crazy it is. but yet the thugs continue to go on, and right now without prosecution.
Well, I mean, just look at what's happening with a lot of these riots. A lot of them are armed. Certainly, a lot of them are violent. We saw what happened to that truck driver who was pulled out of his vehicle and beaten senseless, beaten unconscious, literally. And what happens is that people are arrested. There's this no bail thing that's going on around the country now. People are getting out. People are not being prosecuted. So it just doesn't make any sense. People who actually commit crimes and have a long criminal record go scot-free sometimes. And then those of us who are trying to obey the law, we're the ones who bear the brunt of all these new laws. So you kind of wonder who the laws are aimed at.
Right. Dean, in our final minute or minute and a half here, talk about, I think it was Buckeye Firearms Association did a survey recently or checked into something that's kind of near and dear to a lot of people concerning CHL license and their expiration during this crazy times.
Yeah, we started noticing a problem back in March, when the governor had this this emergency order, basically to shut down the state. And what happened was about a dozen sheriff's offices also shut down. And that kind of created a snowball effect. These offices got behind. People started to panic a little bit. Gun sales started to go up. So then you had this sudden spike of people getting new applications, people trying to renew their license. And then it just got worse and worse and worse. So we decided to try to do a survey to see what was actually going on. And you can see the results on our website at buckeyefirearms.org. It's right at the top. But one of the most disturbing statistics we found is about 28% of people who have a concealed handgun license are going to see their license expire before they're able to renew it. So in other words, no fault of their own, they're going to see their license expire. They're not going to be able to legally carry concealed, and they're going to have to wait anywhere from a month to 12 months in some cases to get an appointment to renew that license. Now, the good news is most sheriffs are processing licenses just fast, but it's really a demand issue. The demand is just outstripping the supply in a lot of these sheriff's offices, especially the small ones. So, we've got meetings scheduled with leadership in the State House. We're going to present these statistics. Earlier in the year, in March, we did get a 90-day extension. And that seemed, like a pretty good thing at the time. But what we're finding now is that people's licenses are expiring already. That deadline, has come and gone for some people. So we're going to try to work on a better fix and hopefully a fix that's going to last throughout the emergency rather than expire on a fixed date.
And Dean, isn't it true, and John, you and I talked about this, that you do have the ability to go to a contiguous county, right? So if the county you're in is having issues, you can jump out and go to some place contiguous.
Yeah, you can. In fact, we recommend that people do that. So, for example, in Cuyahoga County, there are an awful lot of gun owners and CHLs there, but the surrounding counties are smaller, and they're really just getting overrun. And one of the statistics we found was about 37% of people now are going to adjacent counties. The problem is if you're a small sheriff's office, maybe you only have one person dedicated to doing these applications, and you're only doing it 15 hours a week, which is what the law asks for. You just can't handle all the demand.
Right.
So I think that they're trying their best to process all these licenses, but in some cases you've got lines out the door,
right,
where they just can't handle it. They're just being completely overrun.
And JC, you looked at it. I mean, almost every county in Ohio has at least 2 contiguous counties, correct?
Well, yes, only I think 1, maybe 2 only have 2, but most of them have 3, 4, 5. Stark has, as we mentioned, 8 counties. That's Stark County, so they have a wide variety. So, yeah, there are other options, but like Dean was saying, if the smaller ones around you are overrun, then what good is it? That's another option, but one of the counties said they're up to past November or something like that with appointments and pretty crazy.
Wow.
Eric, we actually have people telling us that some of the appointments are well into next year.
Wow.
Dude.
What I would recommend to your listeners is do the work. I mean, really keep at it. Contact your sheriff's office in your home county. Contact the sheriff's offices in every adjacent county. And if it comes right down to it, try to get a non-residence license. You can go to Virginia or Utah or some other states if you need, a certain amount of time
Right.
when you're not going to have a license, as a last resort. But just keep at it.
Right, right. Dean, thank you so much for jumping on with us. You guys, you yourself and all Buckeye Firearms do tremendous work for all of us behind the scenes. We don't thank you enough for that. So thank you so much for jumping on. Certainly yell to us if you have anything that you need to get out there to the public. When we come back from the break, we're going to get to Paul's Gun of the Week. I think Paul.
Really?
Yes.
Man, I about fell asleep here. Yeah.
All right. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
So we're going to get into these facts here you've got posted up here, Eric, about the Columbus police encounters.
What did they do? No. So did they read it in this left out under God? Is that true? I mean, that's true? That's not just some editing thing they did? I mean,
that shouldn't be a surprise because the Democratic Party is secular. They're anti-religion.
I guess the conversation that's going on in the background here, Facebook fans, is the Democratic Party at their convention took out the "In God We Trust," and they're trying to get that removed. One Nation Under God. I apologize, and we're wanting to know if any of you all heard about that or saw anything about it.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I guess.
What, do you just insert whoever you want?
Well, the Democrats.
I admire my dog.
Have their own, the Democrats have their own God. That's for sure. The devil.
That came from the.
That's racist.
A red racist.
I don't think you can say racist anymore, Ed.
You can't?
I don't think.
Oh. What do you say?
People with ulterior thought. I don't know, but I don't think you can say that.
It wouldn't surprise me
I
if
get
they
told
did.
I'm racist all the time because I voted for Trump.
Really?
Everybody that voted for Trump is racist.
Yeah. Didn't you know that?
Yeah.
Well, and if you're in law enforcement and voted for Trump, look out.
And,
how much time they're in?
If we're not racist, we're deployed.
Here, ABC 6 first warning weather for today: mix of sun and clouds, hot and humid. A few spotty afternoon showers are likely. High of 85 tonight. Showers are ending mild and muggy. For Sunday, partly sunny, warm and muggy, with scattered showers in the afternoon that are likely. High of 86 tomorrow. It is currently 87 on your severe weather station. News Radio 610 WTVN.
News Radio 610 WTVN.
Well, I'm not quite sure, Edward. There you go.
Now, that's what I like, Eric.
You know,
what? Not putting me on?
No. Cut you short on your music. I
don't know what happened.
That's good. That's good.
We're going to save that one for next week.
I'll be done.
But that was supposed to tee us up about the Democratic National Convention that happened this week, and we're hearing from people in the crowd here, and I didn't hear this, so we're going to research it, that they took One Nation Under God out of the Pledge of Allegiance when they did it?
Yeah, according to Sam, they skipped Under God during the pledge. They've done it before also. It's not like it was an accident.
Wow.
They took it out of the pledge?
Yes.
So we just insert whatever the heck you want?
They just left it off. And then Matthew Dropko said, I don't know what to think because Under God was added in the 1950s under the Red Scar. So if anybody knows for a fact that that's what they're trying to do, because we don't want to say something that's not true.
Yeah, we will definitely research that for next week, but that's ridiculous.
It is.
If that is the case. Paul, so here's the deal. We have 2 minutes, but we will go, for those people watching on Facebook, as a bonus today, we will take this into a little bit of after hours. So
that's
ahead.
okay. I just want to get the survey through here.
I say the Model 19.
Model 19.
Can you re-ask the question?
Okay. What, in your opinion, was the
European?
best? Your opinion.
Oh.
was the best revolver ever?
Like from a quality standpoint?
Hey, no. No, I'm not. No, Ed, what was yours?
The 19.
All right, John, what was yours?
Well, I'm good. Any K-frame, but the 19 would be a great one. Yeah. So
Okay, Eric?
I would go with
Model
probably
10.
Model 10. Model 10 because of
Oh,
how many
come
years
on.
it's
You're
been
just
around.
trying to get on Phil's good side.
Okay, I'm just going to go down a list here real quick, Eric, if I have time.
Go ahead.
All right, we've got the Colt 1860 Army. We have the Colt Single Action Army. We've got the Smith & Wesson Model 19.
There you go.
We got the Colt Python.
Yeah.
We have the Ruger Blackhawk, Smith & Wesson Model 29, Ruger Super Red Hawk, Freedom's Arms Model
Freedom
83, and Colt Detective Special, and Smith & Wesson J-Frame.
See, where you get this
There was
stuff?
no Model 10 on there.
Can you believe
They
that?
didn't ask you.
No, that's amazing.
Wow.
Oversight.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, now, this is probably from one person.
Right.
And he maybe did a little bit of
you've
research.
been around long enough. I think you come up with your own list. Guys, that's the hour. And we're going to hang for a few minutes on Facebook. Bear with us through a couple commercials. But thanks for spending the hour with us. Glocks are coming this week. If you're looking for a Glock, 19, 42, 43s, 17s, we're going to have some. Call or stop by, get your name on that list. And
don't hesitate.
Be safe this week. Stay safe and be careful out there.
God bless, peace, and love.
Emily.
Hold on.
Holding. If you're watching out there on Facebook, give us a second here to run through a couple quick commercials. JC, you still with us?
No, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone?
Yeah, I can't have him on the phone.
Okay.
Recording. Sorry, but you are all set.
Okay. So let's do commercials. And then, hey, do you have time for another commercial just to record?
Yes. All right. Hold on 1 second.
So we're doing the promos first, right?
Yep, promos, and then you want commercial, right?
Yep. Here we go on promo.
All right.
Here we go. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, we keep you updated on industry news and the fight for the Second Amendment. JC has the Gun of the Week, sponsored by Jackson Egress Windows. Tune in Saturday at noon or live from LEPD Studios on Bethel Road. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, we keep you updated on industry news and the fight for the Second Amendment. JC has the Gun of the Week, sponsored by Jackson Egress Windows. Tune in tomorrow at noon or live from LEPD. Yeah. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, we keep you updated on industry news and the fight for the Second Amendment. JC has the Gun of the Week, sponsored by Jackson Egress Windows. Tune in tomorrow at noon or live from LEPD Studios on Bethel Road.
Give me 1 second.
Yep, I got one last one.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Go ahead.
This is Eric from OnTarget. Today, we keep you updated on industry news and the fight for the Second Amendment. JC has the Gun of the Week, sponsored by Jackson Egress Windows. Tune in today at noon or live from LEPD Studio on Bethel Road. We can. I mean, we're going to have a couple minutes on Facebook. It's just can be you and I, though.
What are you going to talk about?
Whatever. Now you can talk your mind. So it's on Facebook.
Hey, you know you get banned from Facebook all the time.
Oh, I know.
All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, here's the commercial. You ready? Just watch on my time here on this end because I'm not sure if it hits right.
You got it.
Here we go. During challenging times, leaders emerge and true character is revealed. LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility is embracing this challenge and continues to provide our community with essential services such as training, retail sales, and an open shooting range. Watch for updates on our hours and inventory on our Facebook page. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing you soon at LAPD.
Okay, that was good. Do you want to do another take just in case?
Yeah, how was that second-wise, time-wise?
It was perfect.
Ooh,
so hold on 1 second.
Okay, I'll do one more just to make sure.
Go ahead.
During challenging times, leaders emerge and true character is revealed. LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility is embracing this challenge and continues to provide our community with essential services such as training, retail sales, and an open shooting range. Watch for updates to our hours and inventory on our Facebook page. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing you soon at LAPD.
All right, I'll send them over to production.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
So I get 2 songs next week, right?
Yeah, no. No.
Thanks, Sam.
I can't lie and say yes because I would feel bad.
Don't do him any extra favors.
All right.
Once you don't ban Ed, maybe we'll talk.
All right.
Yeah, see?
All right, bye, Em.
Bye.
All right, Edward, it is just you, me, Popo in the background, and Facebook.
Facebook. Well,
you have anything to get off
we
here?
had-
You know what's something we didn't talk about that's been sitting on our counter the whole time? Our Back the Blue signs.
Yes.
They are out there, and if you're able to get your hands on 1 or 2, it's definitely something to throw in your yard to show the support for local law enforcement. Popo? Yeah, I have yours. And Popo, can you hold up that other sign that we have there? I don't know if people have seen that yet. No, the one below. This one, did you see this one, Ed?
Hey.
Yeah, there you Now this, before you laugh on this,
That's a real deal?
This is a real deal. Hold up to the camera there, Papa.
Hold it up to the camera, Paul. You're very good at that.
Yes. So
Put
this
him in a
was
bikini.
this was a parking sign from the actual school resource officer.
And they removed it.
They removed it because they don't want police parking there anymore.
Let me guess what they put in its place. BLM parking only?
It wouldn't surprise me. But as you can see on this, somebody so cleverly put a blue line cross through it, as you do when an officer is falling. In the bottom right-hand corner, Paul, there's a logo there, and the Worthington logo is absolute excellence. But if you can hold it up to the camera there, it looks like some graffiti person changed that a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. It says absolute BS.
BS. I believe it. It is BS. Hey, checking in, Sam Madison sent me a Washington Times article. The DNC delegates drop under God from the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, if the Washington Times posted this, it has to be true.
Well, you would think that's a reputable source.
So, at least 2 caucus meetings, the Democratic National Committee, our convention began with reactions of the Pledge of Allegiance omitting the phrase "under God."
I have to go watch that to believe it. Hey, you want something else to make you guys mad? So, and I really want to put this over the air sometime, but I'll give everyone else who's watching a little preview and stuff. We had a relationship for a number of years with Groupon, right? So Groupon is where you go out there and you get discounts on classes or whatever the case may be. And it was a good relationship.
Right.
Well, a couple months ago when everything started coming down with the rioters, they took a hard stance supporting rioters, looters, and everything else. And at that point, we thought, you know what, our businesses just don't mirror up as much as they used to. And so we dropped our relationship with them.
Kind of like Goodyear tires.
Exactly. So we continue to get surveys, and it's just an observation, but it was very telling. So the first survey that I got, and they were trying to elicit information on businesses owned by minorities. So the first survey I got, the first question was, what race or ethnicity are you? And I click white, and it went immediately to thank you for taking the survey. Wow, that's strange. So I went back into the survey, went back again, checked. I think it was Asian. And again, thank you for taking the survey. I thought, wow, this is all they're asking? I went back again, checked Black or African American, and by golly, it opened up a whole survey.
Really?
And the survey was the most leading question that you would ever see on a survey. So you can see how these things are all manipulated.
Right.
The way they ask the question is as if they already have the answer predetermined. The latest survey I got from them, get this, Ed, and I got it right here in front of me. The latest one, of course, they asked that same question at the beginning. The second question is, which of the following genders apply to your business as an owner, right? The choices are, and I don't know how this is a gender, but LGBTQ owned, veteran owned, disabled person owned, woman/female, or you identify as one.
Mm-hmm.
What's missing from that list?
I believe male.
Male is not a choice.
Oh, it's not a choice, or is it a gender?
I had to write in male.
Is it a gender now, or is it? No
I don't know.
longer
I tell you what, I wake up every morning and I'm thinking I'm male.
Well,
male
I
is
mean,
an option.
Is that an
It's
option?
an option.
And
yeah, pick one of the above. Male.
From my experience,
but it's not even in the category to pick one of the above.
Oh, it wasn't. I had to write it in right there where it says other, Popo.
Write it and vote. Yeah.
Yeah. In my experience, it doesn't really change. I mean, every day when I jump out of the shower, same thing. Every day. And now maybe
You
it
don't
does
know.
change.
Maybe it changes as you grow older or something.
Maybe so. I don't know. Maybe not. But it just goes to show you how when you hear these surveys, how skewed they are by the mere. I mean, these people are masters at marketing and making it sound like. So that first one we talked about, where if you weren't a black or African American business owner, it didn't even let you answer the survey.
Right.
So they're going to say in that 100% of black people who own businesses felt this way, when in actuality they left everything else out. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
It's one-sided as usual, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Or Eric, where did we get this?
Those came from the Republican Party.
Uh-huh.
And there's more available. It's a book. I haven't read it yet, Popo. What is it?
This is a must-read. I mean,
I'm proud to be an American.
Yeah, and the thing is that again now it states facts and things like that, which I know that you don't want to pay attention to facts, but it's really got some good stuff in it, and I've been reading it during the show, and there's some good quotes from past presidents and other famous people that is true. I mean, things that we know that is happening right now, and I mean it's in print. I don't understand why this is what they ought to have in schools.
Right.
Really.
Right.
And
we're going to, I mean, kind of to that, too. We keep saying we're going to do it, and we are going to do it. We're going to have hopefully a couple podcasts through the week where it just focuses on some of these fact-based things that we need to get the message out there. Talking specifically about CPD, about some of these cases they keep throwing out there that they just keep throwing out false information. We're going to have the experts on, and we have people committed to getting the facts. And I'll tell you this as a teaser, there are things going on that are starting to be uncovered that once all the ducks in a row and they can go out to press with it are going to be eye-openers. So we'll just leave it at that and stuff. I will say one other thing, too, and I'm so itching to say this, but I can't. There is one really good global thing that we've been talking about for a long time that is actually going to come to fruition. So I don't want to spoil it because I'm not sure how this is going to be announced. So.
Well, that's good because you got me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Good at keeping secrets.
Former President Gerald Ford, was he a Democrat? Gerald Ford? I think he was, wasn't he?
Republican?
He was Republican, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay, because he said a government big enough to give you everything you need is a government big enough to take from you everything that you own. And that's true. That is so true.
That is true.
Yep.
Hey,
Wow.
Sam Madison just came up with a video from the DNC party. I didn't listen to it, but I did watch it, and I'll listen to it later. But according to what he's telling me here, they did do.
And that's on Breitbart.
They did do the Pledge of Allegiance, and they left out "Under God."
2 different times. 2 different meetings.
In 2 different meetings.
Wow, that's incredible. All right, guys. Well, that is a wrap. Papa, thanks for joining us back in, throwing the headset on. Thanks for.
Hey, thanks.
That kind of threw me off with all my things I have planned this afternoon.
Well, I know. Now your day's ruined. You're going to have to go home and take a
Well,
nap.
I'll have to go home and take a nap.
Good seeing you back, Big Ed,
Hey,
and
thanks,
next
Eric.
week. And stay tuned. Watch our Facebook page and definitely call in or stop by to get on the list for the Glocks that are coming in. All right, guys. Have a safe week.
You do the same. Take care.